So why I don't really shoot corrosive ammunition out of that is because this was basically a brand new rifle when I bought it, and I paid, there's this one, there's this Mosin here, sorry for the sideways video, there's this Mosin here, this thing was basically brand new. As you can see in the stock, there's not a lot of blemishes, honestly. It's a pretty good little M44, and it all numbers matches, you know, even the bolt. I don't know if I can show you really well, but at least I can explain it. But you can kind of believe how, yeah, see, look, what does that say? 7.3 last two. What's that say? Yeah, you can kind of make out the 3. That says 7.3. My bolt, yeah, see, 7.3 on it. So you can tell it all numbers matches. This set 3 5 3, oh, 1953, yeah, and it says 7173 the last 4, yeah. So you can tell it all matches, and it's all like as issued. Even got some cleaning rod on it, you know. But this was like brand new when I bought it. But I didn't technically buy it. I had an M1 Grand at the time, and the old man at the gun shop up north, he had 2 of these. This one was brand new, and then he had like a Chinese one that was not. It was in really bad shape, but it looked like it would shoot really well, and it kind of did. So I had this, and this is back when I was a single soldier. I had this, and then I had the other one, and I ended up letting my one friend Taylor store this with the other one, and I ended up giving the other one up to a friend of mine because he had gotten married, and I just said, well, you can just keep a hold of that. It's for your wedding present. Because I think he ended up having it somehow. I don't know exactly. I might have given it to him. I don't remember. That's why I record things. But from this, I don't know if you can tell, it ain't got the shiniest bore in it. It used to be brand new, but then I had let the one friend store it for me because I was part of the army and I was a single soldier and I didn't have good storing capabilities. So I let him store it for me, and I left a bunch of corrosive ammunition, light ball there, and I went to go get the rifle years later with my wife, and all of a sudden there's no ammo and this thing's rusted on the inside because he had shot it and he did not have any non-corrosive ammunition to shoot through it to wipe out the stuff. So like I've shot corrosives out of Mosins before, right? But the only way you can get them to clean, the only way I've found out is you shoot as much corrosive as you want through it all day, every day, or all day, right? So start at 8, end at 8 at the night, right? But when you want to go to end, you know, stop for the day, you have to shoot at least 10 rounds of that non-corrosive brass cased ammunition through it. I don't know if steel case would work for it. I imagine it would, but I shot brass cased ammunition out of it because I could get it, and that's what I used to reload on. So you got to shoot 10 rounds of that to wipe every bit of this corrosive out of the bore. And it didn't really affect the bolt too much. And then you'd clean it like a normal rifle, you know, as detailed as you really wanted to. You still had to clean it, but you didn't have to clean it near as like detailed, you know. Like you didn't have to like sit there and scrub on it for 13 fucking days to keep it from being corroded, excuse me. So yeah, he didn't have any of that ammo because I didn't have any of that ammo to let him store, and I didn't give him permission to shoot this. He just decided to go out and shoot it and do his own thing. So it comes back to me. He said he cleaned it for like a week straight after that, after shooting that whole like 300 rounds of ammo through it in the shooting session, and he never actually was able to keep it from rusting, even though he cleaned it every day for like a week, multiple times a day. So now the bore's kind of wrecked in it. It still has pretty sharp rifling in it. It's just now it's got the pitting and shitty writing surface on the inside of it, you know, where all the corrosion's ate out of it. So yeah, fuck me. I guess this looks good on the outside. It even got a rack number on it, but it's not good on the inside. So yeah, now I've got to get a red dot and a suppressor for that and a light laser for that as what I'd like to do. For this one, I would like to go from the standard group down to, you know, an inch group, because right now, what it does, oh, yeah, fuck all that shit. what it does is a standard right now is what I'm logging. This is the first group, is it does this for, it's the same box, as you can tell. It doesn't have the cover over because I'm going to start a trend for me. I'm going to cut the tabs off and put them with the target in this binder so I can look at them later. But what this is doing at 100 yards, what I'm doing to set up my standard here is I'm going to put the target out to 100 yards, aim about here, and shoot 5 shots, but with 6 shots in the magazine. So that way it doesn't hold open on the last shot and fuck the group up. But my scope is going to be set where it's set now. Basically, these turrets here, I sighted it in somewhat. It's not perfect, but it's close enough I get on paper and get my testing done. So, you know, this top turret is lined up with number 1 here. This side turret should be lined up with number 0. And I indicate that through this scope /1 line, 1/line where it's lined up on 0 scope. So that's where I know my turret's set for my bullet drop compensator on there. Mark my aim point to be down here instead of like right on here. So that way I know that this over here is where the actual strike point is, but this is where I'm aiming, and I'm trying to get as consistent as possible. I'm not sighting in, I'm just, you know, sighting on. And then I mark it down to a 5-shot group, PSL, 100 yard, PPU, 150 grain soft point, ammo, factory brass, as in it's not been reloaded yet. So this is just factory ammunition. And this, you know, this is about 2 1/4 inch or so. 2 1/4 or 2 to 2.5 inches is about what it does. So then I shot this stuff today, and a little man purse here somewhere. That's a live round. Here. I shot this stuff on a deviated target because my one target I got these are my 2 targets. My one target, what I had gotten, yeah, here we go. I didn't mark this like I should have because it was busy at the range today. So I marked it 5 shots, the date, 29 approximate clicks on the adjustable gas piston, because this was shot with a factory setup. Where's it at? Yeah. I'm marking this is basically marking where this is adjusted to in case if it throws off my groups or something, because this is the factory OEM rifle shot with the factory OEM designated type ammunition that's really honestly supposed to shoot, right, for commercial purposes. But this is modified to this is non-KNS precision piston here, and this is modified, and this is where it's approximately adjusted. And as you can see, it's got that much hole exposed, but it's, you know, PSL, 203 grain soft point, brown bear. It was pretty windy that day. 100 yards, same scope setting with the same caliber, obviously, and I'm getting, you know, pretty wide groups with it. And I was aiming pretty good. I was aiming like right here, and it was cycling all right. So I got up to it. I could not see the holes from the firing line. Normally you can, but this time I couldn't because it was overcast enough. So then I was like, is this a fuck up? Did I fuck it up somehow? So then I went and I reshot. Instead of 5 shots, I shot 3 shots just to kind of confirm, because I was trying to do verification, and I got this group, and I aimed right in the center of it. So basically it's, you know, got a hell of an opening on it. But instead of shooting off to the low right, it shot just kind of low and a little bit right, not really. Most of the string was basically in center of that black line. So that did that. The heavier grains did that. But before I shot that, I had shot this 180 grain stuff, and it supposedly has a ballistic chart up here where it's Right, yeah. Bullet barrel length 28, almost 29 inches, and it's supposed to come out the muzzle about 25.79. And at 100 yards, it drops down to 24.10. Out of the longer barrel, this barrel only has a 24-inch barrel, and it has like a 1.9 or a 1 and a 9 3/4 inch twist supposedly, or a 1 and 10 twist. I'm not exactly sure. I believe that it's 1 in 10. That's what I'm gonna go with. That's close enough to the differences. It's just a 1/4 of an inch. And I don't think that makes that big of a difference for my applications. But I shot that with that 180 grain stuff, and that 180 grain stuff is Full Metal Jacket. And then again, I loaded 6 shots up, counted 5 out, and jacked the last round out. And my Sharpie was failing on me, so what I did, 5 yards, 1 and 0 for the scope, that's written scope, 5 shots, 100 yards, 1 and 0 on the scope, KNS, about 20 clicks out, and I was adjusting it as I was going. 180 grain, the Cellar and Below, tactical line ammunition, Full Metal Jacket, and I wrote down here annotated windy day, and I was aiming about in here. All these I try to aim a little bit lower of the circle. I try not to, or of the aim point here. If not, about right here's where I'd like it to be. And this actually did all right, and that did, my knuckles about 1.25 inches or so. So it did, about 2 knuckles worth. So it didn't do good. It did all right, but it did better than the heavy stuff. So, you kind of be the judge of the two groups. And maybe this was me a little bit because on all this testing, because all I have is an ammo can, 30 cal, set down, and then I have a roll of shop towel on top of it to brace the wood, so I don't mar the shit out of it, out of this base here, because it's brand new. I'd like to keep it as nice as I can and not be dumb with it. But I don't plan on getting rid of it, and if I do, I'm gonna get something just like it, but different maybe, But yeah, so this is my data so far for it. 100 yards, 5 shots with 6 rounds in it, and this is what it's given me so far. So, not too bad, not too good, but I've been able to reach out. Today I took 1 shot of this. I had 2 rounds in there, and I jacked my sight out all the way to the 6 mark on the elevation and the 0 mark on the windage, and I whacked the 700 yard target steel at the range. 1 shot, 1 try, hit it, because I heard it. I didn't see it, but I did hear it. I heard a difference in it, because they got railroad ties hung out there. So it's not going to move that much at that distance, especially with this puny of a round, but it's definitely going to be able to give you a nice audible ding or a dud, because it doesn't give you a ding because it's not hardened steel. It gives you more of a dud. But anyways, that's what I've been up to. That thing's just kind of a toy. Eventually I'm going to clean it up and shoot it some and see what I can do with iron sights out at that distance, and not necessarily, I might not group it. I might group just factory ammunition to see what it does, just for the fucksies of it. With the barrel damaged like that, I'm not going to hold my hopes up for like anything but like this kind of accuracy, because I remember shooting it the one time at 50 yards and it did better groups than this. But I mean, that's goes without saying in a bit, because it's a bolt action. You don't have that reverberation on the barrel because of the front band there whipping it weird, So that's what I've been up to. Eventually I'm gonna do a little bit of race car stuff, but I'm just kind of waiting, biding my time. That shit's more expensive than guns, even though I spent, this thing, I put $600 cash into it before I paid on my card. My card, it was almost $2,200 because I had paid taxes for it. And then this thing was $1,270, so there's, whatever that comes out to. And then I'd spent the $500 on the Red Dot sight, and I'd spent $1,600 fucking dollars on my wife's CZ. And then I also spent another basically $1,100 on an FN57 for my wife for a carry handgun, because she had a PMR 30. Don't buy those things. She had a PMR 30. That thing jams every shot, and we've put more than 500 rounds through it by now. It doesn't jam hard. It doesn't have like a real bad malfunction, but every time it goes to load a shot, generally it fails. So don't rely on those. So same kind of thing as a PMR 30, but not higher quality FN57. It works a lot better. She loves it. And then I wanted something like a PS90 for her to stay in the same caliber because that's important for me. But they didn't have one there, and I was kind of like, what about that CZ Scorpion? They're like, oh, this, and she's like, I like this. I'm like, all right, whatever. So now the laws are changing around it for over that folding brace. So now I think we're gonna end up trading that thing in eventually and trying to get a Kel-Tec Sub 2000 Gen 2. Because she was able to put her hands on one, and she's like, that's really light. I really like it. Its shoulder's really nice. And I'm like, it doesn't kick that much either. And it's a regular rifle, so you don't have to worry about all this short barrel rifle law or handgun law or anything like that. So anyways, peace.